Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Stas's parents always dreamed that he would become a musician. Everyone in their family was a musician, and somehow it was clear that Stas would also go on the road. Since early childhood, he simply had no free time. From an ordinary school, he ran to a music school, from there to a rehearsal. If the boy had been asked, even waking up in the middle of the night, what he hates most in the world, he would answer without a stop: music. Of course, neither mom nor dad, nor especially grandma, did not know about it, otherwise they would have been hit right away. And Stas was silent. He was silent, but sometimes in time. When he was in the 8th grade, and the house was already broken from his reward, a girl came to them in the class. Stas, even many years later, he remembered how his heart stopped, and then it worked again, but already in a completely different rhythm. She was beautiful. She looked like an angel. And then Stas understood that he had no chance of even getting close to her. He was thin, pale, constantly with some musical instruments in his hands. It was offensive. But Stas is not one of those who just give up. He looked at the girl for a week, who was, by the way, called Angela, and then he decided to come up. Hello. She looked at him with huge, surprised eyes. Hello. Can I see you out? The girl laughed, threw him in the air, and replied, No, if you are carried away by the wind, I will have to answer. And if the hooligans attack us, I will have to save you. The whole class laughed so hard, and Stas ran home. There his grandmother met him. What happened? Why aren't you in music school? And in general, what kind of a shabby look? Stas, from all the swing, threw the violin across the room on the couch and screamed, Because I hate your music school. I hate music, and I will not do it anymore. Grandma grabbed her heart, and Stas ran to his room and locked himself there. Since that day, there has been a breakdown in him. He categorically refused to do music. Grandma drank valerian, mom cried, and father was silent. He understood his son. He himself at his age was experiencing similar emotions. And now he would go fishing, drink beer with men, and not all this. As a result, after his mother and grandmother even took him to a psychologist, Stas had a right to choose what he would do. He enrolled in the sports section, swimming, and in general began to lead a completely opposite lifestyle. His mother cried again. Grandma was drinking valerian again, and Stas often came home with a broken nose. He didn't even approach music anymore. When the choice was made where he would go to study, the female half of the Salaba family began to offer musical or cult prospect direction. But Stas said he would go to the authorities. Grandma was taken to the ambulance. Now mom is drinking valerian. He did not pass the medical examination. Then, with a chain of teeth, he submitted the medical documents. It seemed that the women had a little exhalation. Doctor, this is very respectable and decent. But right before that moment, until they found out which direction Stas chose, he was going to become a pathologist, and not an ordinary one, but one who works for the investigation. Stanislav Olegovich, how are you? He looked at the major who entered the office and drank tea. Igor was not only a major, but also a close friend of Stas. And what are you, Igor, doing some kind of subordination here? The dead will not tell anyone that you can communicate normally. Igor smiled, sat down on a free chair, and sat down on Stas. I can't understand how you can eat here. Stas shook his shoulders. What's wrong with that? And where should I eat? Should I run outside? By the way, should I pour some tea? Igor was eagerly swallowing and shaking his head negatively. No, thank you very much. Stas stretched to the table and put the papers in front of him. Here is your conclusion. You didn't come to visit a friend, but for them. Igor quickly looked through the leaflets, only then smiled. Thank you, Stas. Everything is as I thought. Now you can not rush and even pay attention to your friend. How are you? Stas laughed. Well, you are a mercantile. I'm even afraid to think how you would talk to me if there were no conclusions. I'm fine. Until I got married, mom and dad are fine too. Why don't you get married? I remember you took the most beautiful lady away from the last party. Why? The ladies, as soon as they find out where and who I work with, disappear very quickly. And even those who wanted to marry me 5 minutes ago. You and Alka made up. Igor sighed. What's going on there? Vanya was taken to his mother. No conversations help. Mother-in-law. Also good. Oil pours into the fire. She constantly says that I will be shot. She, however, will be quacking with the child. Stas washed the mug. Strange women. And if she leaves you, will divorce you, and will be a baby with a child? Igor looked at his friend with a smile. Stas, talk to her. She broke off like a chain, doesn't want to listen to me at all. Not a week at all. Damn it. Stas looked at his friend carefully. Yes, you look like it doesn't matter. Something else happened? Igor sat down more comfortably. Listen, I'm already thinking about quitting this job. Stas surprisingly raised his eyebrows. He knew perfectly well that for Igor, service and honor are not empty sounds. But from this moment on, more detailed. Well, you remember I said that our boss has changed. Such a fool was sent. Not in the fairy tale to say, not to describe first. He was not with you yet, by the way. Stas negatively shook his head. He had already heard that the head of the department had changed, but had never seen him before. I have a feeling that this will not end well. He is so slippery, and the whole department says about how he walks with his colleagues. Strange. Why haven't they been interested in internal services yet? Probably some hairy paw is there. Well, I'll hope that he won't get to me soon. You're lucky. You're sitting here in this basement, and no one cares about you. In the office where they were sitting, the bell rang. Well, to Karkul. They brought someone. Igor quickly said goodbye. He managed to say the truth that they were going to talk to Callie on the weekend, and quickly left. Stas climbed up. He immediately realized that the man was in good shape, and that he was the boss that everyone disliked. He was somewhat grumpy, spread the smell of the smoke, and constantly yelled around himself. Why should I wait? Where are you going? Stas calmly looked at him and replied, Please don't raise your voice. This is not the place to scream and hurry. The lieutenant colonel looked at him with an angry look. But he got rid of it. We need to open it as soon as possible. The girl has a sick heart. Death is expected. So I'm waiting for the conclusion quickly. We cannot look for anything else. In the evening, the body will be given to relatives. I'll organize everything here. Is this your acquaintance? The man is confused. Rather, acquaintances of acquaintances. Just do everything as I said. Understood? Stas nodded his head. Why not understand? That's good. I'll come in the evening. He left, and Stas threw the sheet away and froze. Often the dead looked good, but the seal of death always left a mark on the face. There was nothing there. The young woman was as alive as she was alive, and she was very beautiful. Stas sighed. Such young and beautiful people leave, and such not very good people for some reason remain. He gave the order and went to prepare for the discovery. As soon as he took the scalpel in his hands, the body in front of him began to represent only professional interest. Find something that will put everything in place. In this case, it seems that nothing needs to be searched for. But Stas is not of the category of people who believe in other people's words. He has a different profession. He made a small cut, literally a centimeter, and took off from the table. The girl's skin was noticeably trembling. Stas leaned against her lips. No, there is no breathing. Or there is. What nonsense. He grabbed a stethoscope from the box and leaned over the body. At first he didn't hear anything. Then he moved to the right side and froze. The girl's heart was beating on the right. It was very rare. But how could they bring her here alive? And the heart was beating very weakly. Stas picked up the phone. He realized that something was wrong here. Otherwise, the lieutenant colonel would not have hurried him. Igor, I need your help urgently, but so that no one knows anything. In a nutshell, I explained the situation and put the phone down. It wasn't even minutes after a friend appeared on the threshold. A woman with a suitcase was following him. Well, show me. She leaned over the girl. A few minutes later, she opened the suitcase. She has something in her throat. I need to find a trace of the injection until I bring her to her senses. Igor and Stas took up the case. The trace was found quickly, under the knee. Yes, this place is very secretive. Another minute after, the girl stopped. The doctor looked at them. What are we going to do? She needs to go to the hospital. She needs a drip. Can this be organized at home? We are seriously worried about her safety. Perhaps it can. The body is strong. The girl doesn't seem to drink or smoke. Igor thoughtfully stretched out. It is not clear how she could have been in that company. Stas took off his coat. We're going to my place. My shift ends in half an hour, but the shift man always comes earlier. The main thing is to bring the girl to the car before he appears. They all made it. Stas yelled at his partner, who came a minute after they put the girl in the car, which is very late, but then he will definitely call. And they broke up immediately. Already at home, when the doctor put the girl in the dropper and her cheeks began to swell, Igor asked, "And what's next?" "You understand, enough by the evening. So, by the evening you have to talk to the security service." Igor just shook his head. "Easy to say. Well, I'll try." 2 hours later, the girl came to her senses. She surprisingly surrounded the room with her eyes and stopped her gaze at Stas. And he just died from her blue eyes. "Who are you? And you?" She answered confusedly. "I'm Nastia. And where are these?" They rang the doorbell, and Stas rushed into the hallway. It was Igor. 2 men with him. "You're just in time." The girl woke up. The doctor said quietly, "Ask only the most important things. In about minutes she will fall asleep again." It turned out that the girl was working in a cleaning company. She was forced to clean the same cottage in which the colonel with his comrades was making noise. The owner fell for the beautiful girl, and when she refused him, and in a rude way, he went crazy. He killed her and made some kind of injection. He said that now she would be talkative. But whether the dose was not calculated, whether the girl had such a reaction to the body. In general, they all made sure that she was dead. The heart did not listen, and the fact that she was on the other side. No one in a drunken hangover guessed. He needed a conclusion that she just had a heart arrest, which he actually ordered to do to Stas. By the evening, Nastia finally came to her senses. Stas already told her under what circumstances they met. The girl was scared, depressed, and asked to call her mother. Lieutenant Colonel was taken right to the morgue. He came for the body, probably wanted to bury it, as if unidentified, or maybe something else. In general, 2 months later, Igor took the case. Allah managed to persuade him to come back. Not immediately, of course, but Nastia helped a lot. She quietly said, "Allah, you can't imagine if not for Stas and your husband, I would no longer be in this world." And Allah waved her hand. "Oh, God with you. Hero, pack your bags, let's go home." And after 3 months, the court pathologist, she got married there. Yes, there was a girl who didn't care about his profession at all. She didn't even care, and she was kind of shivering with her. She said that only a good specialist in his business could save her life. Mom immediately calmed down. "Oh my God, at least I found a normal wife, not some lady in pants and a gun on the waist." Stas and Nastia did not know the details of the acquaintance. And also, Nastia turned out to be a violinist. And at her own wedding, for the first time in many years, Stas took the violin in his hands again. And they together performed a sad and romantic melody, from which all the guests cried. If you like the story, please support me with the thumbs up button. For you, just one click, but for me it is very important. Thank you.